Two, one. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Bad Wolf TV. I'm your host, Charlene Norman, and tonight you probably thought there was a chance we were going to have an outside expert, and you're looking at the screen going, oh, it's you two again. But there's a reason for this. We're kicking off the Ask the Expert technology series because with ourselves because we want to ensure that everyone has the same base level of understanding of what it is we're trying to do. That's why you're still seeing both of us tonight. After this, all the experts will be from outside, but right now we're doing this one together just to make sure that we all start with a common understanding. So to kick off the entire Ask the Expert technology series, here's my partner, Kim Schofield.
Thank you, Charlene. And I am just going to share my screen. There we go. All right. You should be able to see the PowerPoint.
We can see the PowerPoint.
Excellent. All right. So this is the Ask the Thought Leader technology series. And the tagline that I put in there is be part of the conversation. The goal of these talks is really to create conversation and discussion and share ideas and questions and answers and come up with new ideas. So the first thing that we will cover, of course, is online safety, security, and awareness for kids, for work, and for work from home. So those are the three main categories or pieces of our lives that are majorly affected by this. And of course, they were all there before the pandemic and all the shutdowns last year. But those are the three that have really been blown up. Those are the three that we really see colliding all the time right now. So we start with kids. We want to keep our kids or parents or anyone who's not used to being on the internet and staying safe. We want to keep them safe. So we'll look at how to do that. Then some of us are still going out to work. With all of the pandemic and the shutdowns, there are now more cyber threats than ever. So we will look at how you keep your work and your data and information safe at work. Then there are those of us working from home. And that's where the kids and family and work really collide. And we will take a hard look at how do we keep everybody safe while they're at home? And how do we keep your work devices and your work information private and secure? So this video here is from Wiser, and it's 1 minute, so I will just let you watch it. This is very similar to the one that you saw in the newsletter. Wiser is a company that I work with and partner with, and we will be using Wiser to bring you a lot of that fun, easy training that we talked about, where you can be sure that you know how to keep your work and your family both safe, secure, and compliant with the new laws and regulations.
Why would anyone want to hack into your business, right? It's a small business, and there are far better organizations to hack into, like banks. Well, if that's what you believe, then your math is wrong. If hackers can easily lock you out from all your computers and demand a ransom to unlock them, then why wouldn't they do that all day long? They can collect tens of thousands of dollars a day doing this. You may also think, hey, they don't know me. Well, they don't need to, and here's why. Hackers think like marketers. You or another employee may click on a link in Facebook, Twitter, etc., and fall into a trap. Unfortunately, this has become an epidemic. Over half of the small businesses that get hacked shut down within 6 months. Now, most small businesses are not protected, so even if you do the bare minimum, it may be enough for hackers to skip you and move on to the next business, just because they don't have time for you. And best of all, it's not expensive, so hire someone today. Why would
All right, and who doesn't love Mr. Bean? Part of what we do when we are working with the security and keeping everything safe is we share stories that help to keep us all connected. So here's Mr. Bean, and you clicked the link, didn't you? Of course you did. We all do. We all click the link
We
at
do.
least once. Every time we learn how to spot the links we shouldn't click, well, those cyber criminals are hard at work and they find new ways to fool us, so we possibly do it again. So if you do click a link and things like they look like they went badly wrong, tell somebody, ask somebody, get some solutions, get some help. We've all done it. This is Gabriel Friedlander. So he is the founder of Wiser, the company we're working with. And the reason I put this LinkedIn post on here is because Gabby's posts are all lately around this whole idea that we're all on a reimagined learning curve. So all of us, everybody, from 2021, if we look at the last year, we went through an entire learning curve that not one of us could ever have predicted. So this is social engineering. See how our pre-digital habits and good manners can make us an easy mark. On the right, you see my friend Chris Roberts, and I love this polar bear slide. So what this slide is about is social engineering, which is it is always easier to hack the person than the technology. So it's easier for me to get you in some way to give me access to your information if I'm a cyber criminal than it is for me to actually go after your devices and your machines, although that happens a lot as well. The next thing we'll look at is health and tech, the self-advocacy. So how are you protected and from what? As we move into 2021, we will see a lot more health and tech coming to the forefront. It's always been big. Tech and health are big together and they do great things. As the world is become smaller and globally we can reach out and find anything, in some ways it's also become harder to get at the healthcare that we need because hospitals can be full, health professionals can be overworked. So we need to know what's safe, what's out there, how's it getting to us, and what is tech and health actually doing for us. There'll also be some previews of some really cool companies that I have worked with in the past and still work with. We can show you some of the things that people are doing that are just amazing. On the left, you see my friend Leo. Leo's from Sao Paulo, Brazil, and he has a company that I think is a great example of what we call tech for good. So Leo's company for the last 7-8 years has in Brazil an app that helps parents and teachers and children all go through that process of being dropped off and picked up for school safely in huge schools with big populations. Last year, what Leo and his company did is they pivoted again to use this tech for even more good. They kept what they had and they added layers of protection for the COVID crisis. So now there are ways for the kids to answer questions, go through their self checkups, know when they should and shouldn't go to school. The teachers are all notified. Everybody can get their homework. Everybody can be checked on. And you know when everybody's coming back. So we will talk to Leo in the coming weeks and he will tell us more about his company. The banner there says Fio Sofia, and that is, as he found out, not easy for native English speakers. Excuse me, as he found out when he came to visit from Brazil. So that company is now called School Guardian. On the right, excuse me, sorry. On the right, you see Siri, Alexa, and all those close cousins that are your smart TVs and wonderful wonderful devices that are always listening, anything that turns on when we talk to it. And the important thing to note here is anything that turns on when you talk to it is always listening, which means that there are privacy and safety concerns for not only you and your family, but also your job, your work devices, and your personal and company information. So we will look at things like that. The next one, as we power up our people and our tech, we will look at the role of the C-suite in this whole process. So the C-suite has been evolving over the last 20 years at an accelerated rate. C-suites are always developing, of course, but technology and C-suites have been in a race for about 20 years, and they were falling behind. So after last year, this year, C-suites really need to step up their game. They need to catch up and keep up so that their CTO or their CISO fits into this reimagined kind of normal in a way that can help protect the company, keep it compliant, keep ahead of all the cyber criminals, and make sure everybody has a safe, productive work environment. So I put in a quote here from the World Economic Forum, because I was at their forum last week and it was very, very good. This is just a couple of their bullet points. So the COVID pandemic has opened more opportunities for cyber attacks, obviously. And what came out of the surveys as well, there's not enough board members that understand the threats this posed to their business. They're not familiar enough. And the surge in cybersecurity attacks in 2020 has made boards and CEOs more acutely aware of these risks of inadequately secure technology. So things they were kind of sweeping under the carpet or thinking that they didn't really need to be up to date on, we need to get those C-suites up to date so that they have some oversight and some support for the technology departments. Cryptocurrency, what it is and why does it matter? This is going to be a high-level look at cryptocurrency because there are things that everybody needs to know. If you are really interested in cryptocurrency, we'll be running a parallel series that will delve deeper into more about what it is and what the possibilities and potential is. So if you look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and there's many of them out there, in simple terms, cryptocurrency is virtual currency, which is money that exists mainly as computer code. It has no central issuing authority, and that's a basic definition from a Merriam-Webster dictionary. It's not governed by any single entity, nor is there an institution that is responsible for its value. It's the Wild West right now. It's all self-regulated in its own way, which accounts for the big swings in value and a bunch of other stuff. So large-scale adoption, when it happens, and there's big arguments on both sides of that, when it happens, will affect the economic power of both governments and financial institutions, and that's where it really will affect everybody. So knowing what's happening, seeing the trends, knowing how that affects the banks that you deal with and the governments that can keep currency at a certain value, that'll be important. Next, we will do a primer in digital ethics. So this is one of my favorites and one of my areas of research. We're just going to look at the high-level view to give people an idea of why everybody should stay informed and what the different subjects are and why you might be really interested. So we will look at autonomous cars is one, maybe not for the reasons that you might be thinking, should they be on the road? Well, that is an ethics question. But the purpose of bringing them here is that we will go through what's called the Molly problem. So the Molly problem looks at every little tiny decision that we make when we drive that we now have to transfer to a car, but it's not just me. It's what would Charlene do? It's what would you do? It's what would the next person next to you do? It's what would your grandmother do? What would the 17-year-old who just got his driver's license do? What would a driver in Rome do? And I can tell you some of them are crazy, even though I love Rome. And what would a driver in Canada do? What would a driver in Australia? Everybody has a different opinion. And these are micro decisions that we all make. So this whole decision-making process is huge. And it's a very separate problem from should they be on the road? Is there any point to it? So there's many problems there to be dealt with. And it's good to understand the depth of what is being dealt with so you can participate as much as you feel that you would like to. Autonomous power grids was the other one I chose. That will lead into things like the smart cities and all the smart applications that are coming online. Power grids have been online for quite a few years, so they're a good example. They're the way that we try to automate taking a blackout into a rolling brownout so that we don't have hospitals and air conditioning units in elder care homes going down. We have brownouts that keep the power low, but keep the ICUs working. They keep the temperature below 110 when it's really hot in the tropics, wherever these people happen to be. When we get over into power grids, it all sounds much easier, much more black and white, but there's always the same questions. How much power is there? If there isn't enough for the hospitals, the daycare, and the elder care, where's the power going? Which ones are going to actually be cut off? Which ones will be browned out? Where will the blackouts happen if they need to happen? So there's a whole lot of questions there. And we just have decision-making processes that do the absolute best they can and make decisions faster than a human ever could. The last thing that I've got on my list here is that we will look at gender equality, diversity, and inclusion. And I put down there in the 3 separate sections. It's all diversity and inclusion really, but gender equality is its own huge movement. And we want to make sure that we get all the issues and we look at everything. When you look at diversity and inclusion, it's about so much more than just, hey, we should hire more women, or we have to make sure that we're including all ethnic cultures. Every person, every ethnic culture, every male, female, binary, everybody has a different way of looking at things and a different way of looking at the world. And when we lose part of that, we lose this richness that allows things like technology and culture, the business culture, to move forward, especially at this huge accelerated rate through COVID. We need now more than ever all of the contributions from everybody so that we have a smooth path forward. We're making decisions for billions of people now when we reach across the globe. So that is a basic and quick overview of some of the topics we'll be covering. And we will start next week. And that'll be a surprise, but I will post that after the weekend for you with the speaker for next week. And I will see you on Wednesday.
Wow. Thank you so much. You want to, there we go. You know what? This was all new to me tonight, folks. I did not realize that this is what Kim has planned in the first few months, just the first few months. Imagine after a year or 2 years of this. And I am really looking forward to learning a lot of this because, frankly, if your background is not heavily in the tech, you're going to be just like me, totally ignorant. And because we believe that knowledge is power, we're going to make you very powerful over the next little while. So thank you, Kim. That is truly amazing. So that's it for the technology expert, Talk with Expert Technology series this time. Until next time, we'll see you later.